So we got Tiramisu versus Happycat again. Happycat has gone Soviet. And Tiramisu has gone with the OKW. Again, we are on the map Crossroads. And we'll see how things fare in this match. Conscripts, once again, did very well last game with their 7-man squads. And again, the Volk squads did equally well. So I don't think they're going to change it. We'll see if they change anything up. I'm looking at overall doctrines to see if they would change anything up. Guard Mortar worked really well for Happycat last game. And Tiramisu, again, Overwatch worked quite well. Though I think that he didn't really use Fatherland. Although I don't think he really had the munitions for it. He didn't use a Goliath, which would have been hilarious if he actually got a really good Goliath play in. So, again, very curious, very, very curious to see what happens in this match. Meanwhile, we have Sturm Pioneers moving on in. Conscripts moving in to take the mill VP point, while the Engineers down south take over the southern fuel. The northern fuels... Oh, wow. Nope. Sturm Pioneers decided, you know what? Time to put some barbed wire on this tractor. And to be fair, you want to make sure the enemy can't use that tractor, so not a bad idea. We have coverage going down. Volk squad, just while they're there, just figure they make some cover. Although Conscript's being very aggressive already, I'm assuming seeing where he's taking the resources and sending a bulk of his forces to make sure he can advance in that sector. We have 3 Conscript squads possibly going in to engage, 2 Volk squads and a Sturm Pioneer. Once again, putting down lots of barbed wire on that cover to make sure if these guys do advance, they have some issues. Now, they are building right now some cover. Volk squad might have been trying to take an opportunity to hit them without the ability for them to get that covering while they're building for more damage. We do have another Conscript squad coming in. Hold on. Do we have a PPSH focus? We do not. Okay. With the amount of Conscripts, I wouldn't be surprised if he went something with PPSHs, but he has not focused on that yet. Conscripts coming on in. Volk squads just trying to move on with the Sturms to try to keep them contained. Again, some medium cover chosen for the Conscripts. Sturm Pioneers, again, trying to move up and trying to do what they can. We do have some nice cover on both sides over here, but looks like the Volk squad's just going to pull on back and use their heavy cover. Down south, however, we have the Engineer squad just not really under any contention going around to capture a lot of these resources, giving Happycat a nice lead. Volk squads coming in on the flank, trying to push them back. They are in negative cover right now. Sturm Pioneers trying to help out the one battle that maybe can be decisive in, push back the Conscripts for himself. Volk squad's coming in, trying to hit this mass. I will say it's a small blob. It is a small blob of Conscripts moving on in this sector with additional Conscript on the side. This one might be taken out by the Sturm and the Volk, but yeah, this mighty force. Oh, actually is being flanked. The Volk squad came in from behind, although the Sturm Pioneers had to retreat. No, he should be fine. Be fine. And Tiramisu is able to get that unit out A-okay. Meanwhile, Volk squads in that heavy cover going in behind, although we have a nice blob. Oh, this is where I am hoping for a Goliath. Just, it wouldn't even make sense, but just to come on in and just give them an explosive entrance. Meanwhile, Volk squads, again, hitting from 3 different directions on these guys and are wearing them down slowly but surely. These Conscripts are being completely surrounded. We could see Incendiary going off to push them back. It does, and they are pushed out of that cover, moving him to no cover, hopefully allowing the Volk squads to get a couple models or do some more damage. But like we saw before with the flank, the Engineers are now flanking. Not only that, but they actually managed to decap this point, stopping a ton of resources coming in. And while 2 Conscript squads had to retreat, there are still 2 additional squads on the front, one very weak, one not, able to hopefully take over this point. I love how he's like, no, I don't like that cover. I'm going to make my own. And I'm going to make it bigger. Conscripts, bigger and better. Always the key. Any case, he's building his own cover. Actually, I'm curious why he doesn't try to build it so that way he can use it, but the enemy can't for capturing. But whatever. He's capturing it. Very nice. Sturm Pioneers heading into mid and not much stopping him right there. We do have Volk squads as well pushing in the south. We have medical supplies going down. Once again, we're going the mechanized focused. Happycat has yet to build anything, honestly. He's just focusing on a lot of the, infantry, just mainline conscripts. He's not building anything. He hasn't chosen to build anything. He will need to in order to get some heavier armor. But maybe he's just trying to go for that infantry game. He's trying to get that conscript strat down in order to hold back the Volk squads and just gain a supremacy on the field, and then slowly just ramp up production of additional units or that he could deploy onto the field. Conscript's trying to hold, but the Volk squads are flanking, quickly pushing them out. Additional Volk squad on the front, and he's doing a mass retreat. He can't hold that front, but capping it did unfortunately delay the Germans, because now they have to wait and capture this territory, which might give them a little bit of time to heal and then come back up to the front. Stern Pioneers coming on in with Minesweepers, again, most likely just to get rid of the barbed wire that is currently in play. Conscripts, though, along with the Engineer, which we saw last time, used to great effect. Can we see a maybe direct shot through? No? Okay. Volk squad moving in behind heavy cover, most likely just trying to get some leverage on these guys, but they're more focused on taking this crossroad. Meanwhile, on the southern crossroad, the Volk squads are taking it, decapped it. Oh, wait, I thought he was going to leave, but he did not. He's going to stay there. Volk squads grabbing mid. Conscripts pushing forward. Stern Pioneers trying to come in on the flank. Engineer squad trying to push the Volk squad back, and doing so quite effectively. Very nice job. Volk squad's just chilling on the back. Conscripts just going around the two different separate corners. But that's not working. Conscripts putting pressure on them. Very weak, but managing to get them out. We have additional engineer made, most likely for production. And yeah, he's ramping up production quite quickly, going straight to trying to get that light armor. Another T-70 on the field? Possibly. We will see. Anyway, nice flamethrower pushing back the Volk squad. Conscript trying to grab that fuel in the meantime. Battle over mid. Double Conscript versus a Volk. Volk squad, realizing the inevitability of defeat, pulls back so that way he doesn't take too many casualties. And that way he can come back stronger and hopefully beat back these forces. We do have, again, Volk squads, though, heading down south, grabbing the fuel. So he's not entirely done yet. We could easily see them capture these points on the map. And then hopefully get that needed fuel back to German command. But alas, that will not happen. Conscripts cutting off the resources that he would get. So probably only getting like one fuel out of that, unfortunately. Volk squads, though, trying to come in from, well, they could probably hit him from two separate angles, and that would make it so that cover would be not useless, but not as effective as he probably wants it to be. Meanwhile, we do have that T-70 on the field, but shortly. But we also have a Lukes on the field. Again, the Lukes is way better against infantry. T-70 good against infantry and armor alike. So we'll very quickly see if Tiramisu or Happycat brings out AT to help gain advantage or definitive advantage over the other. And actually, Happycat, do you have all your upgrades? That is a question, good sir. That's a question. You do not. So your conscripts will be pretty much not useless, but I mean, they're not going to do much, if anything, except maybe meat shields, which again, the Soviets, maybe that's the Soviet strat, meat shields, for the T-70. Hopefully this doesn't turn into a Finnish campaign. But T-70 going down, pushing back the Volk squads from fully capping that VP point. Again, we have the MG right over here trying to stop, I assume, more units from coming on in. Conscript on the retreat. Volk squads and Sturms capturing the north. Flamethrower pushing back the Volk squad in the south, allowing for the recapture of the fuel. But the Germans do have that. Tiramisu is recapping that. Happycat did go medics. Tiramisu, unfortunately, does not. But the nice thing is he does have those medical supplies he keeps dropping for himself from the Sturms. Again, a really nice ability to have is just have the Sturms drop down munitions to get that. Now, unfortunately, it is not cost effective for the whole game, because then you have so many forces in the later portion of the game that the medical supplies may not be enough, which is why it's always better to go with that mechanized building. But early game, when you have not as many that possibly will need healed, it's not too bad. MG pushes back the conscripts. Puma is now on the field. He decides, nope, I'm going to one-up you. I'm just going straight for a Puma, which misses, but does do its intended effect. Pushes the T-70 out of the combat zone, which allows the Volk squads to dominantly hold this sector. We do have it's funny, a flare trip mine that put down by a conscript. Love those things. They only kill a model, but hey, they're not too bad. Anyway, additional Volk squads pouring on in, trying to stop these conscripts and engineers from decapping this main junction point. And this junction point would stop all the resources on the left-hand side from going back to Tiramisu, which is exactly what happens. They cut them off. So there'll be a brief period of time where Tiramisu won't get those additional resources in play. Again, we have the Volk squads just chilling around the flanks. Again, he's moving in the weaker unit to take this. We do have an AT gun now being made. Puma just trying to open fire. And again, it's not ineffective against infantry. That is the wrong term. It has a really good machine gun to hurt infantry. But in cover, and actually in cover in front of it, not doing a whole lot. Not doing a whole lot when the conscripts are entrenched in mid. Now, luckily, both crossroad points on the map are now being taken over by... Oh, damn. Missing that. Still being hit. Volk squads pushing on in. They do have the Panzerfaust ability, so they are effective against the armor. Conscripts now have the ET ability. Very nice to see. Happycat, by the way, changing up focus, going armored assault. We could still see T-3045s, but we could see also pure stellinium in the form of an IS-2 on the field. Puma going in. AT gun, unfortunately being blocked by the logs. Although, again, still has to watch out for a conscript. Rushing down with Ura. Oh, no. This could be a bad maneuver. Conscripts throwing an AT grenade. Smoke was already used. AT gun could just maneuver himself. Now, luckily, he could use this brush to kind of stop the AT gun from getting a direct shot. But he doesn't have too many men down here to make sure it's under his control. If he gets behind the MG, he should be fine for the most part. Volk squad needs to pull back, but the flame could take it out along with the additional forces. MG opening fire, suppressing some of the infantry. Suppressing 3 units out of the infantry, though. Conscripts coming around the flank. Volk squad needs to hold that conscript squad. Luckily, the MG is suppressing. All the units here are being suppressed. And luckily, that's just enough time. Just enough time, especially of a delay, to keep the Puma back. Now, Puma can still fire, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, does kill the MG, though. He realizes with that Sturm, he needs to bring up the Puma up to full capacity, and soon. He doesn't have the heals on that building, so the Sturm is the only thing that can heal it. And unfortunately, the amount of engineers with flamethrowers, conscripts, and the T-70 is enough to knock out that MG. We do have a Luke's going into play. T-70 trying to move on in, but alas, I think if he does, that would be a bad engagement. Again, it's right next to the base. You also have the flak opening fire. Yeah, that's the one thing about the OKW base as well. A lot of people kind of rush up armor into an enemy base, but with the OKW, these flak guns will actually hurt a lot of the lighter armor, so you have to watch out for that. It's always funny when an allied player rushes the base and it's like, please be Wehrmacht, please be Wehrmacht, please be an MG base. But conscripts taking mid and also trying to knock out this crossroad point again. Going straight for the jugular, although Volk squads are here to stop that in its tracks. And with the STG-44 and Luke's, conscripts should be quickly defeated. Might be killed. I think he's going to lose the unit. He will. He will. He lost the conscript squad. Ooh. That is a loss for Happycat. Now, Happycat doesn't have the next building out, so we don't expect a T-34-85 out anytime soon. At least in the next minute or two. Puma's on the field. We have a new building possibly going down. Will it be a medical building or a Panzer headquarters? Again, we could see also Dotton on the field, which, again, he could upgrade with SCG-44s. He is... I've yet to see Elite Armored, because, again, maybe he'll try to use a Scout car to fight them. So I don't think he'll go that. My assumption would be either Overwatch or maybe, well, trying to go for a Classic Tiger. Can we see a Classic Tiger? Anyway, MG opening fire in mid. But again, the cover stopping him from being expressed. Luckily, AT gun's like, don't worry, guys. I got that cover for you. Destroys it, allows for a quick suppression and a fallback. Nice job suppressing the infantry, or I'm sorry, shocking them so they can't move. So they're stuck there. Meanwhile, Sturm Pioneers try to move in. Now, unfortunately, though... Oh, wow. What? You're moving in very... I don't know what your goal was there. But you tried to go in very close. And the last conscripts are quickly putting an end to that. Now, he has a ton of munitions right now. The Soviets do indeed. So don't expect him to be worrying about, like, oh, should I throw AT grenades or should I do something else? No, he has plenty. Now, the MG is going to suppress some of the infantry, although the Volk squads are falling back. We could see the Lukes come into play, but there is a lot of AT in this sector. So, again, could be something the Lukes has to watch out for. Conscripts as well, coming around the flank. Not much stopping in. Volk Squad's having trouble deploying as the Puma once again stopping him. Tiramisu's greatest enemy so far in this game might be pathfinding. But I think that's a lot of COH2 players' biggest enemy is that pathfinding. Volk Squad's trying to help on Aldo, but I think now he's deploying long-range AT to hold back this stuff with the Verkenwerfer being made. We do have the Panzer headquarters being developed. Puma and Luke's opening fire, but not too much damage on Happycat's T-70. And again, the German-held territory in the south is now being switched over to the Soviets. We do have another MG being made. Although, it's funny because he has his own MG with the 34 that was stolen earlier. Now we have a moment of silence before the battle heats up once again. MG being lit upon by the Lukes. Again, just firing some pop shots. Again, a best shot would be try to break this cover. That way we could do a lot more damage. Engineer squad falling back. Again, we have double engineers now, so quick repairs are very likely. Happycat as well. I believe building yes, definitely building the heavier buildings. So, although he is building an AT gun out of all things, he's not going for a T-34-85. Instead, going with the double AT. I wonder if he's trying to think about last game and realizing, okay, I went for the T-30-45, but unless it was pathfinding or a lot of armor, I wasn't able to quickly knock out the Lukes and Puma on the play. But if I have double AT, and if they walk in, I should be able to quickly neutralize them. Or maybe that's what he's thinking, if I had to guess. MG opening fire, the Maxim. Volk Squad's trying to pour on in. Luckily, there is some suppression from this other MG. Volk Squad's trying to come on in, but his other squad's just chilling in the back, trying to capture territory. No Panzerfaust fired, although maybe a bit enraged. There's too many forces. He decided to pull on back to make sure his men survive. Still, that conscript squad is being suppressed. We have the Lukes coming around the flank, trying to do some damage. Stern Pioneers coming on in. Puma coming on in with the Volk squads trying to take over this point. And again, a lot of pressure being done by Tiramisu on Happycat. We do have a double AT gun now. So we have two AT guns trying to guard the front. Puma just trying to fire shots, but these barrels and everything else in this little storage area is taking a lot of the heat. MG pulling on back with the Verkenwerfer redeploying to another section of the map. Stern Pioneers quickly heal the Lukes. Overall, resource-wise, is close, but I would say Tiramisu has the lead in this one. Still anyone's game in this match. Also, Minesweepers. Are you going to see Minesweepers come out to get this? Yep, hopefully. Anyway, MG behind the cover. Engineers grabbing the fuel back. Lukes is coming down to maybe put an end to that. AT gun, though, I believe is coming over to help. It is, but just out of range. Conscripts and MG coming into mid. Conscripts trying to put some pressure in mid against the German infantry coming on in, but alas, he still has heavy cover on this front. That's the problem. He can so easily get into this cover and try to wipe out the conscripts. And yeah, he has to fall back. Puma as well, trying to help out where he can. Again, hasn't killed a single infantry unit this entire game, but still there to support, there to help out. It's the unit you can lean on, even if it's not. It can't do as much as maybe some other units. Anyway, Luke's coming on in, trying to flank some of these forces, going all the way around. Volk Squad as well, trying to go around the corner. MG opening fire, but the T-70 is now focusing on that. Also, maybe an artillery ability in this sector, possibly, but it did retreat. Nice dodge right there. We got a matrix dodge by the Lukes, pulling back. Again, incendiary grenades going off, try to push them away from cover, though conscripts don't seem to mind the heat. Verkenwerfer opening fire up against the T-70. Puma so far not taking any casualties, but in the meantime, these Sturms have gone around and just taken over the other territory without the Soviets really paying too much attention. Puma now trying to go in against that T-70, missing the shot. AT gun, though, opening fire. Smoke going down. Could we see a direct fire shot? Could we? Nope, gets out of there just in time. Verkenwerfer as well pulling on back. Tries to go for the direct shot, but Puma is long gone in that engagement. Meanwhile, we have the Lukes coming back in against the conscript, but there's still another AT gun on this front, so Lukes cannot go do as much damage as he might want to. Tiramisu, what is your plan, I wonder? You went for Panzer authorization once again. But will you save up for the King? Or will you go for a Panther instead? I don't think he'll go once again for the T-34-85. I think he might. Well, actually, I take that back. I don't think he knows what he went. Because honestly, he hasn't got anything doctrine specific. Happycat, though. We gonna see an IS-2? We will! The IS-2, ladies and gentlemen, is on the field. And the first heavy tank of the game has been deployed. While Tiramisu is deploying a Panzer IV. Oh, this is going to be a collaborative effort by the Germans to use everything they have in an effort to take down this mighty beast. Or will the IS-2 just push on through and knock out a lot of the German forces? Germans have, again, unfortunately been unable to identify what he's went, but now I think we'll clearly understand what Happycat has chosen. And also remember, Happycat can anticipate what is being deployed on the field. Puma getting a shot, but not doing too much for cannon warfare. Luckily getting a nice shot. I believe getting a rear armor hit. Puma as well getting another shot. Another rear armor hit by the cannon warfare. T-70 opening fire against the MG. Might need to pull that back. Having some issues with the IS-2. Already down to a third health just based on the cannon warfare hitting its, I believe, rear armor each of those times. So a lot of lucky hits. Puma getting a nice shot, knocking out the turret of the T-70, being like, no, stop it. For cannon warfare redeploying, we do have Volk squads trying to come on in to assist and take over the southern territory. Oh, can we get a mine detonation? Oh, that would be so lucky if he got a mine detonation right there. Conscripts coming on in, though, unfortunately, might be within range. Is within range. Nope. Didn't throw the AT. Oh, didn't throw the AT grenade. So, just a lucky shot would do so much damage against these guys. Luckily, with the double engineers, Happycat is quickly able to get the IS-2 back up to operational status. And now he knows that there's a Panzer IV on the field, and he's probably smiling right now. Because he's like, oh, Panzer IV? Okay, don't have to worry about a Panther. Again, not to say the Panzer IV can't do damage against the IS-2. Absolutely not. Against a rear armor, very likely to pen and do some damage. But, unfortunately, with the front armor, that's a different story. Now, the cannon warfare, the thing doing so much damage against this target, gonna need to pull on back. Panzer IV coming in, getting a lucky rear armor hit, but alas, as you can see, not too much damage from that. IS-2 returning fire. Nope, just out of range. Just out of range. Puma coming in, though. We're trying, maybe. We still have a lot of Soviet forces along this front. Oh, boy. Puma getting, oh my god, a very lucky rear armor hit. May want to try to get out of there. Smoke. Gets a turret hit. Unable to turn its turret, actually. The IS-2 is defenseless right now. Does get a nice shot, though, on the Puma. Puma's barely alive, making it back to base. Panzer IV trying to engage, but the double AT is lying in wait for it. Missing the shot. Volk squads pull on back, realizing, yeah, we don't need to fight an IS-2 right now. Not going to help us out, especially if he starts backing up with the flamethrowers guarding it. We're just going to get hit pretty hard from it. Happycat, by the way, could call in a Sturmvik strike to help out against a lot of infantry. Luke's coming down south to push back the conscripts off the fuel, or at least attempt to. But alas, not the case. He's just moved out of range while the AT guns redeploy to aim at the Panzer II. Oh my god. But hey, I'll give Tiramisu full credit. That Puma is not only punching above its weight, it's punching like it is punching so far above its weight. It's not even funny. It is here for my Saiyan friends out there, it would be Tier 1 Goku going after Super Saiyan Broly. Not a good idea, or maybe just raged out Broly. Not a good idea, but still holding his own for a couple hits before just being clobbered into the ice. But after a brief moment of reprieve, the Soviets launch a new offensive against the German held lines for once. The Soviets have been on the back burner for the most part, but though they've had both victory points, they're doing quite well. Oh, I don't know what this play is, but the Puma manages to kill the T-70 with a nice shot. Vet 3 indeed. Very nice job there. Although the IS-2 is pushing, knocks out the cannon warfare, quickly trying to recap it and get out of there. Misses the shot. Luke's might be trying to move on in. Panzer IV moving in on the rear. Sturmvik strike coming on in. Very close to killing it, but luckily it should get back to base. So even if it does get knocked out, it's right there. So very easily could be healed up. Now IS-2, unfortunately... Oh, we have a Jagdpanzer now being deployed. That would do something. Luke's trying to push back the conscripts and manages to. With the Sturmovik planes overhead, going to be a bit of an issue, though we could see AA go into effect. Oh my... That RNG gods almost knocked out an IS-2 with the plane. Oh boy, that could have been very, very bad indeed if that plane crash would have happened. The COH2 gods are mischievous in their methods of how they interact with players, and sometimes they just want to bring lots of pain, and sometimes that plane crash could just knock out a lot of units. I remember, I think the worst plane crash I ever received was a plane crash killing an IS-2, actually. So anyway, Volk Squad's trying to hold this line, but the Sturmovik coming on in, doing a little bit of damage, not too much. He was in cover. Infantry slowly being healed, but not a lot of manpower to go around. A lot of that manpower went to the Jagdpanzer to just try to hold against the IS-2, which is almost, it is fully operational. We have an Su-85 now being deployed. It's still with the double AT. The Soviets are more than capable of fighting any armor the Germans throw at them. Germans will definitely need that for Kenwerfer and all the infantry to support in order to take down this beast on the field. Meanwhile, IS-2 going straight in. Panzer IV trying to help with the AT guns. Trying to focus on the Puma. Panzer IV hitting the IS-2, but unfortunately not penning. Luckily, the Jagdpanzer does. The Jagdpanzer backing on up. But again, the Panzer IV is still right there. Still on its flank. Luckily, the AT gun is trying to help out. Panzer IV, I don't know what it's doing. It's just staying inside the zone. Now, needs to pull out of there. Does manage. Jagdpanzer moving on in. Unfortunately, is once again in the AT's range of fire. Oh, IS-2 going in for possibly a dive. Misses the shot. Jagdpanzer does not. Unfortunately, the Panzer IV doesn't penetrate. Su-85, though, coming on in, gets the kill. Puma decides... Oh, actually, I think having a bit of an issue there because it backed up and then went forward. Puma coming on in. Su-85 could be at a disadvantage versus a Vet 4 Puma. Puma just laying into the Su-85. Infantry coming along the flank, but the MG stopping them in their tracks. Puma might actually knock out. It stunned the Su-85. Oh, once again, the wall is in its way. Gets the kill. Vet 5 Puma knocks out the Su-85. That's a mighty loss for both sides. A Panzer IV on one and an Su-85 on the other. And right now, it's even across the board. It is even, ladies and gentlemen. Though I will say the Soviets do manage to hold territory across the main road into German on the German side. Plus, they still manage to hold mid, so they're actually putting a lot of pressure on Tiramisu. Though Tiramisu, luckily, not only has Sturms, but has this mechanized building, so able to get the armor up pretty quickly. As well, could absolutely take the wrecks of the downed vehicles and possibly use them not only as cover, but also as fuel, so we could possibly see that happen. Any case, IS-2 quickly being healed. Luckily, you should be up to full health very quickly to bring it back up. But luckily, until it's up on the field, using this opportunity, Volk Squad's advancing. Vet 5 and Vet 4 respectively. That is some pretty beefy Volk Squads. Although IS-2 now up to Vet 2. Nothing to sneeze at. With the flamethrower group right there, it's best to pull that back. Puma getting a nice pen on it, but pulling back for the AT gun, it gets a shot on him. MG trying to guard this point. Oh, so low on health. But luckily managed to pull back to base. IS-2 engaging the Volk Squads. Puma opening fire over here. Luckily we have some conscripts just slowly but surely heading north. Might be able to grab some territory in the meantime. Luke's keeping the infantry back and away. Although AT gun. Again, nice coverage by Happycat with his AT. Making sure the armor can't stay in an area for too long before that AT pushes them back. Again, this Puma, oh boy, it is doing work. The last Puma, last game, got, I believe, up to Vet 4. But this one, Vet 5, doing a lot of work. And he needs to. None of these armored vehicles can match an IS-2 in sheer firepower. But combined, And working together, they might be able to take down this this armored vehicle. We shall see. The best thing he has right now, I would say, definitely the Puma with its mobility, but the Jagdpanzer can definitely get some good pens in. Conscript squad being pushed back, but actually, was that actually an infantry kill? Good job with the tank destroyer. Volk squad pushing on in, but the MG stopping any sort of advance for right now. Volk squad's on the other side, though, coming in on the flank. Might be able to get a quick kill. Actually, should be able to with the incendiary effect. Come on, knock it out. That's a Vet 2 MG, and he's knocked out. Luke's coming in on with additional Volk squads. We do have Volk squads in mid now, putting a lot of pressure over here. Sturmvik strike very easily could be deployed. A ton of munitions currently being floated. But the thing is, the Volk squads aren't in a blob. They're kind of all over. What is it? I have no idea what this IS-2 is doing, but it just slid backwards into the fight. Luckily, it did manage to kill the squad. Putting pressure on the Sturms now that have been very helpful for Tiramisu this entire game. By the way, Tiramisu yet to put down a medical. He's still relying on the medical supplies over there, and also just the Volk squad self-healing. Sturm Pioneers pulling on back. Jagdpanzer trying to go for a pen, but unable to. Puma, though, coming into the game. Or, nope. Yeah, getting at least one shot. Misses. Jagdpanzer going in while the IS-2 is distracted. AT gun, though, hits it. He's trying to go for the kill. He really wants that Puma dead. He so wants that Puma dead. But this might be a dive that could cost him greatly, or could be beneficial. Jagdpanzer nowhere to go. Multiple Panzerfaust in effect, and Verkenwerfer coming on in. Smoke. Nope. He is crippled. He is damaged. Trying to get the shots off, but unfortunately the Puma unable to heal. Sturmvik strike going into mid. Gets the shot on the Verkenwerfer. That was a dive that was apparently worth it. He's doing lots of damage versus the Volk squads. Artillery as well, stopping him from getting it back. Actually kills the Verkenwerfer and pushes him out. Now we have a Panther being made. Luckily the Puma did survive, but the IS-2 desperately tried to kill the Puma, but unable to. Luckily, the Lukes is still in play, just causing havoc against the conscript squads, and at least stopping them from going in for that decap to cut off all of the resources, though I think the Panzer headquarters would stop that pretty quickly if he pushed up any further. Meanwhile, the Soviets are just outside the German base. Luckily, the Germans are getting still a ton of resources in the north, and Puma just speeding across the battlefield, might be trying to go for a push somewhere else. Actually, funny enough, I've yet to see really caches in these games, but Happycat, making sure the Germans can't just walk in and decap his resources, has put down a cache to stop any sort of cutoff. We have the Loose, once again, putting pressure on the Conscript squad, pushing them back. Conscripts in mid, just lighting up the Volk squads from afar. Actually, these 7-man squads, do you have 7-man? 7-man? Okay, oh, good, good, good. Panther deployed. Now, he knows this from radio. He knows this is, in fact, IS-2 just trying to kill the base defenses in the meantime. Meanwhile, Puma coming in on the flank. Might knock out the turret. Not able to pen. Still no doctrine picked. We have yet to see a doctrine, honestly. Which is actually a little bit weird. I fully expected a doctrine. Oh, no. Oh, no. Pen, conscript, AT, pinned. Because, again, he could go elite armored and get high explosive rounds. That would make the Puma incredibly effective. Conscripts coming around, getting some nice kills on some infantry. But the main threat is outside the base. The main threat's outside the base. And the armor's pushing on in. Does he have Verkenwerfers? No. He has nothing. Puma, though, coming back around. But he still has the AT guns on defense. He's keeping the pressure directly in front of the German base. Puma might try to go around, but the AT gun is still over here, his second one. Although it was focusing on the Lukes. This is not good positioning for Tiramisu. He needs a victory here. He absolutely does. Luckily, the Panther is quickly being healed by a double heal. S-285 redeploying on left to try to push back. Unfortunately, the Lukes is also taken out. We still have Sturmviks in play. We still could see them. Conscripts moving on in. Wait, nope. I have to decap the point first. Volk squad's just trying to hold on to what they can. Additional conscripts moving on in. Again, those 7-man squads are pretty nasty, but he does have 2 Vet 5 squads. Very good. Panther. Oh, yeah, there he goes. Tiramisu going with elite armored again. The reason I say this should have honestly been done a little bit sooner, because his Puma could have gotten additional heat rounds and have been so much more beneficial, especially against that hitting the German lines. Again, just for perspective, with a heat round, I believe you can kill an Su-85 in 2 shots. So, yeah, it's with the King Tiger, just for perspective. Base now being hit, IS-2 putting a lot of pressure. Nothing really stopping him. He's just now hitting the base. He needs Verkenwerfer, honestly, or long-range AT to try to push him back. Su-85 as well, trying to hit the Panzer headquarters. He's being hit on 2 separate angles. Sturmwick strike going over the base, so any engagement by the infantry might cause a suppression run to come into effect and hit all of these guys. We have the Puma going around AT gun, trying to redeploy to stop him from killing the Su-85. We have heat rounds in effect. No conscripts nearby. AT gun trying to get a shot on. Panther as well coming into play. Double AT and Su-85 knocks out the Vet 5 Puma. That is a heavy loss. A heavy loss indeed. He's going in for a deep strike. Su-85 just backing up, letting the AT guns hit from 2 different angles along with the IS-2. And that is game. That's the 2nd win for Happycat on my stream, but I believe Happycat got a 3rd win. So Happycat, out of 4 games, managed to seal the deal and take home victory. Honestly, a great game. Tiramisu coming back once again, but stronger than the last game. Honestly, Vet 5 Puma leading to some great plays. I think what may have sealed his deal might have been the commander choice. Honestly, if he would have went with the commander, I think that might have helped him. The Jagdpanzer getting additional heat rounds, along with the Puma fighting the IS-2 earlier, could have won him the game. But we will never know. We will never know what would have happened. But I think that his doctrine choice might have played the deal. As well, in case he didn't want to go elite armored, he could have simply waited. Excuse me, sorry. He could have waited to, instead of getting a Panther, got himself a Tiger instead of the Panther. But I think he wanted something with equal speed and maneuverability to try to overwhelm the IS-2 being a slower, bulkier force. But maybe he did something with more speed as well. The AT guns were incredibly powerful versus the German armor. So very good job there. Very good game. Su-85 as well. Unfortunately, maybe not the best, but again, versus a Puma, it's hard to compete. Happycat, 53,000 damage in a 1v1 game. Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal right there, but doing a very good job in overall preservation. Look at that. Getting the mythical positive KD for the Soviets. Very good job there. Very good job. Tiramisu, unfortunately, getting 10,000, a little over 10,000, 12,000, with 41,000 overall damage and 121 kills, respectively. He had some good dives. He had some good hits, like, for example, the Su-85 and the T-70 being knocked out. Plus, that Lukes that came around and did a lot of infantry damage on the left. But honestly, I think he just needed something to help bring down the King. The IS-2. He just was unable to do so. But yeah, I think some lucky, like a lucky pen here and there could have helped it, but unfortunately, the RNG gods decided no, there was no pen in that one, and the IS-2 was able to escape. Maybe to seal the deal, again, go with those AT rounds, but once again, it was a good game nonetheless. And good job, Happycat. I like your little engineer plays. They're always great. It's like, I'll heal real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, you're charging? Let me just advance these guys and burn the infantry away. Just very good job all around. So overall, actually, hold on. Let's see what the MVP units were for both sides. The Puma, absolutely. This Puma, I loved it. Was incredibly potent and incredibly annoying. You know that IS-2 was diving it. Not because it's like, oh yeah, of course, knock out the Puma. It's like, no, that thing has to die. It wasn't just any unit. It was the bane of his existence. AT guns, 19,000 damage, respectively. Also, IS-2, 3 vehicle kills. Very good.